We're talking about
flamethrower chasing somebody.
hot pursuit, showdown, and a little bit of deception. Yeah, it's not quite, but
wrong era.
hey, this is everybody getting what they need at this time. So, chapter 31, I'll start today. Our Father in heaven, we thank thee very much that we are able to be together and to have this chance to learn thy word. We ask thee to please watch over us, that we will be well and that we will be able to take care of what we need to. We thank thee for all thou hast given to us, and we ask thee to please help us to move forward well and continue our lives honoring thee. And say these things and do so humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Alrighty. The Lord commands Jacob to return to Canaan, and Jacob departs secretly. How do you depart secretly?
With hordes of cattle.
Yeah. Anyhow, Laban pursues him. They resolve their differences and make a covenant of peace. Laban blesses his descendants, and he and Jacob part company.
He was that determined to keep the guy.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Laban, in the end, he says, "Okay, you go, and I'll give you the grace of my love to live your life." But holy Moses, let's read on.
And he heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob hath taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's hath he gotten all this glory.
Now remember, this is Jacob's writing the history, but he's also been making sure that he got the best of everything, because honestly, he'd been doing a lot of the work.
Toiling away.
He was the one that was getting it all to happen, from what we can understand, and of course, who knows where this lands. But moving on. Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before.
And the Lord said unto Jacob, Return unto the land of thy fathers and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee.
Yeah, so he's been manipulating his wage, as he's been saying. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock,
and said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not toward me as before, but the God of my father has been with me.
And ye know that with all my power I have served your father.
You can do 7 as well.
And your father hath deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times, but God suffered him not to hurt me.
If he said thus, the speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckled. And if he said thus, the ring-straked shall be thy hire, then bear all the cattle ring-straked.
Thus God hath taken away the cattle of your father, and given them to me.
And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived, that I lifted up mine eyes, and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring-straked, speckled, and grizzled. So it had everything.
Well, depending on which one was going to be the wage for that time.
Ah.
Right. So this is God handing everything to him instead of allowing Laban to keep it, because
the Laban is being a bit of a jerk and holding him hostage. So
he's not being completely righteous and honoring everything wisely. So
yeah.
And the angel of God spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here I am.
And he said, Lift up now thine eyes, and see all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring-straked, speckled, and grizzled. For I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee.
So Laban was being quite a bully then.
Okay.
I am the God of Bethel, where thou anointedst the pillar. That is an interesting word to try to say.
Mm-hmm.
And where thou vowest a vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out from this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred.
And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house?
Interesting. They have all of this, all the cattle, all of everything, and yet why is it important that they have an inheritance at their father's house? That is an interesting question.
Hmm.
I don't understand the
Importance.
the symbolism. Anyhow, are we not counted of him strangers? For he hath sold us, and hath quite devoured also our money. So he took he gave us away, took our dowry, and he's gone and blown it.
Oh. For all the riches which God hath taken from our father, that is ours, and our children's now then, whatsoever God hath said unto thee, do. Oh, okay, so they were saying, so our father has taken our inheritance, taken everything that we have a value here, and therefore there is nothing for us here, and we're okay with leaving. Because we have what would have been ours by default anyway.
I'm guessing you're more right than not. Then Jacob rose up and set his sons and his wives upon camels.
And he carried away all his cattle and all his goods which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Paddan Aram. Weird. For to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan.
And Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's. Now, these images, they're idolatry. They have something to.
So it's sort of like pornography magazines.
No. These are not. No, these are not.
Okay.
Nasty stuff. These are his god idols. His symbols of. I don't know how it works, but it could have been the god of fertility, the god of growth, stuff like that, and she just took them all and took them with her. So,
no gods before me.
Yeah, it's an interesting one that she felt that these were needed for her. I don't understand it.
Question marks.
Yeah, and Jacob stole away unawares to Laban and the Syrian, and that he told him not that he fled.
So he fled with all that he had, and rose up and passed over the river and set his face toward the mountain of Gilead. Gilead, sorry. English!
Well, that one has a bit of an odd pronunciation.
Yep.
And it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob was fled.
You can read the next one too.
And he took his brethren with him and pursued after him 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in the Mount Gilead.
And God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream that by night, and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad.
That's interesting.
Be careful what you say.
Yeah, but also that God came to him and spoke to him specifically.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he had been a decent enough person that he was willing to listen, but that's an interesting...
Odd.
I mean...
More question marks than anything.
Yeah, well, Laban was pursuing to bring him back. And so God's saying, no, just leave him be. But at the same time, there's that, wow, God himself intervened in this situation. That's a pretty big deal.
Was Laban intending to kill him if he didn't come back?
Who knows? But,
Possible.
I'm not going to say one way or the other. I don't think that was his intention, but he had, because of Jacob's industry, become a large, wealthy man, and then Jacob had all of the wages that had happened come to him, and the majority of the cattle were Jacob's now,
and the strong ones especially.
Yeah, and so all of the wealth that Laban had was now listed as under Jacob's, and Laban was sitting there going, dude, I'm losing my best worker. He's taking everything that is supposed to be his, but I really want to keep here, and now my family's gone. So Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead.
And Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done, that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives taken with the sword? They're my wives! I did not capture them. Honestly.
But still, there's the level of, you took my family without letting me know. I'm not going to say one side or the other. This could have been looked at either way, but the fact that they left without telling him makes him go, dude, what's up? Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly and steal away from me, and didst not tell me that I might have sent thee away with mirth and with songs, with tabret and with harp?
Yeah, you wouldn't have let him go. You had a tight leash.
Probably, yes.
And hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Thou hast now done foolishly in so doing.
It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt, but the God of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, Take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad.
So he was intending to possibly at least slap and rebuke.
Well, yeah. So whatever would have happened didn't.
And now thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou sore longest. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I was right. After it's spelled funny.
Yes, this is a weird sentence.
After thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods?
So, yeah, you wanted to go back to your family. I get that. But why did you take my idols? And Jacob was like, dude, what? Okay, Jacob answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Peradventure thou wouldst take by force thy daughters from me. Because he was the dad, and that happened sometimes.
With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live before our brethren. Oh no.
Just keep going. This actually becomes funny.
Thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them.
And Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the two maidservants' tents, but he found them not. Then he went out of Leah's tent and entered into Rachel's tent. Yes,
okay.
yes, just...
I'm sorry, I see the line and I just pause. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture and sat upon them, and Laban searched all the tent but found them not.
And she said to her father, Let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me. And he searched but found not the images. So she's on her period, or she's saying she is, and she doesn't want to get up and make a mess with anything. And he's like, okay, we'll just sit there. And she hides them from him by... This is the one time when there is an actual deception happening that is a total and complete lie. But...
Okay. Well, and Jacob was wroth and chode with Laban, and what does that mean?
They're having a heated argument.
And Jacob answered and said to Laban, What is my trespass? What is my sin, that thou hast so hotly pursued after me?
Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff. I love it that they just say, this is my stuff. What hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge betwixt us both.
This 20 years have I been with thee. Thy ewes and thy she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten.
So, dude, I've been working for you because I've been there. Everything's been going super well. Everything's been great, and yet you're coming after me because I left. What the heck? That which was torn of beasts I brought not unto thee. I bear the loss of it. So he's been taking the losses as well. Of my hand didst thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night.
Thus I was in the day the drought consumed me.
Yeah.
And the frost by night, and my sleep departed from mine eyes.
Thus have I been 20 years in thy house. I served thee 14 years for thy 2 daughters, and 6 years for thy cattle, and thou hast changed my wages 10 times.
Except the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely thou hast sent me away now empty. God hath seen my labor, mine affliction, and the labor of my hands, and rebuked thee yesterday.
But yeah. So, can you imagine somebody walking up to the boss of a company and going, dude, where's the money that I'm owed?
Where's my paycheck?
Yeah. And in this case, it's literal righteous anger, because he had been getting shafted by Laban for all this time.
43.
And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne?
Is that greed talking?
Well, again, remember the brother and sister thing.
True.
If Laban dies, these will all be the oldest in the family, and so they will be taking the place of Laban. So he's just saying, this is the family that has been left to me. And I'm not sure that this is an evil thing or a negative thing, but he's just saying, this is my family. These are my grandkids. These are the people that I have been around, and we have loved each other as well as we have. Who knows how healthy the relationship was, but this is the family that I have, and all of the not
Wealth.
crops, all the
Cattle.
Thank you. All the cattle, they started as mine, and we've all been working together to grow me into what I am. So
Now therefore come thou, let us make a covenant, and I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar.
And Jacob said unto his brethren, Gather stones. And they took stones and made an heap, and they did eat there upon the heap.
And Laban called it Jirgar-Shadutha.
Jagar-Sahadutha.
What does that mean?
The heap of witnesses.
Huh. But Jacob called it Galeed, the heap of witnesses in Hebrew.
Either way.
The other one is Aramaic.
Aramaic, yeah.
The second one's easier.
This is what they did was they made a pillar, and they probably put a big flat stone on top of it to make a table. And then this is another one of those covenant things where you do something to say we're combining all of our efforts, and this will be the symbol of our covenant and agreement here. So, and Laban said, This heap is a witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Galeed? I'm not sure.
And Mizpah, for he said, The Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent from one another.
Mizpah is the lookout point. Interesting. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives besides my daughters, no man is with us. See, God is witness betwixt me and thee.
And Laban said to Jacob, Behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast betwixt me and thee.
This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me for harm.
Sure, you can come over for visits, but nothing else.
Right. Don't come and attack me, and I won't come and attack you.
The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, and the God of their father judged betwixt us, and Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac.
Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mount, and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread, and tarried all night in the mount.
And early in the morning Laban rose up, and kissed his sons and his daughters, and blessed them. And Laban departed, and returned unto his place. Finally! I'm free!
But this is just this is running away, not in a bad way, but getting away from a bad situation that was getting worse because he had done so well, and Laban was losing this whole arrangement. So it's an interesting one, and I'm glad it worked out as well as it did.
It could have been a lot worse.
He could have come up and started fighting them hard, you know, that would have been really bad. But we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye.